Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza and welcome to Gramza Market Studies for Wednesday, November 18th. We were looking for a rest day in the stock indices and actually a number of markets. We weren't looking for big days. Well, in the stock indices they behaved like they should have. If you look at the NASDAQ market, this kind of a move that we saw in yesterday's action is the appropriate kind of behavior for a rest day. As I mentioned to you, I didn't think that yesterday's action would be critical as much as today for many of these markets. In other words, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be important. And so what we want to see, indeed, if these buyers are present, we do have some fundamentals swirling around out there over the next couple days, and we want to see how the market reacts to that. But right now, everything's in place. Nothing would be telling us to abandon ship. Well, if we saw this strength here, does that mean the currencies followed suit? Did we see a stronger dollar or weaker dollar yesterday in these currencies? Well, for US dollar, a stronger dollar, a weaker currency. So the euro got weaker, US dollar got stronger. Across the board, very interesting. Did not expect it to be that dramatic. We're looking for an unchanged, remember I said yesterday, an unchanged to higher kind of move. Well, one, it didn't get higher, except for the yen. And two, we saw some follow through here to the downside. So that means these trades would have reached magnitude objective on the upside, a scratch as it moves through, and a magnitude objective on the downside. So very interesting setups. And now, with this kind of environment, we could start whipping back and forth in here. So it's the next couple days and I'll set the tone. So do we expect this kind of behavior tomorrow? Are we looking for another big move to the downside? And the answer is no, we're not. I know this is a big move and it seems like this should be very bearish, but from my perspective, it is not super bearish. And what we're looking for is this market to now possibly start rotating back and forth. So interesting setups. That's basically what we're looking for across the board in these currencies. Now, the one market that was resilient was our friend, Mr. Pound. You notice here that it basically stayed unchanged. That was the kind of day I expected to see in these other markets. And the British pound is the only one that really did that. So this may be hanging in here. It's kind of interesting because it truly is marching to the beat of its own drum. So I think today for the British pound should be an interesting day to see if indeed these sellers are here. I really don't think they are. But let's move on and let's take a look at these interest rate markets. We see the short end of the curve again continues to march along. We see in the 10-year notes, well, we had that volatility. We have what I call a false sense of security. It's potentially bearish for us. It's at significant levels, so it's a critical time for the notes and for the bonds. These are both critical sessions coming up here for those markets. If we get weaker today and we do not take out these lows, then it does set up the potential for sideways markets. But we'll let this unfold, and then you and I can take a closer look at that. In the metals markets, well, we also looked for a rest, and what you see are that false sense of securities. This market breaks, but indeed buyers came back in. The critical issue here is that we do not put too much pressure on this shadow here. We want these buyers to maintain control. So today's session is going to be important towards that end. So again, I think Wednesday, as we talked about before, is going to be kind of a critical day, and I think that's what we're seeing in gold, silver, and our friend Mr. Copper. They're all at significant levels, and it'll be interesting to see indeed if these buyers will come back into these markets. That's what we're looking for. Crude oil, the same thing. This is a nice rest day. You know, crude oil is behaving properly in that respect. And you know, something I didn't tell you yesterday, and I forgot about it actually, but we had a sell point up here that the market went through right here on the buy side. So we had a sell over here and a buy on this side, and that difference is $1.05, which would be $420 in the mini contract. Okay, just forgot to mention it, and that's what's going on with that market. Natural gas, again, critical phase. Today is the day that's going to make or break, I think, natural gas. Are these buyers present? You know, soybeans. Now, soybeans behave properly. It took out these shadows in a dramatic fashion. That's exactly what it should do. Today should not be a big day in soybeans. What we're looking for is a day like you see right here in corn. Wheat also maintained a very strong move. This kind of movement after this type of day, though, is more enthusiastic than you would expect. So to see today to be a rest day in these grains would not be surprising at all. Well, this concludes today's market studies. I hope you found a few ideas helpful, and I'm looking forward to being with you again tomorrow. And in the meantime, take care.